Hello, my friends. Welcome back to our continued blind Let's Play Homestuck, the PC YouTube mod. My name is the FlightlessBird. This is the story-based gaming channel, and today we close the curtains on Act 4, and I must say, this story is by far the most crazy story I think I've ever encountered, ever, quite possibly. And there's just so many things that are happening that I mean it just it's it's not afraid to just be out there. And that's what I feel like. I mean, between the whole cloning and the brothers and the kinship and the time loops and the gates, and I mean it's just I not to mention the fact that it's impossible for us to win, right? There's no way we can win. They've told us that. It's just I'm as we close on the act 4, I just wanted to say that this is by far one of the most crazy stories I've ever encountered, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it continues to evolve because man, this is quite a mind trip so far. But with that said, let's not focus necessarily on the past just yet because there's still a lot more coming. Yeah, there's still a lot more coming. So let's go with it. Suburb Beta, Rose, Egress. This is my final entry. My co-players and I have made every earnest attempt, with occasional relapse, to play this game the right way. I have been meticulous in documenting the process to help our peers and successors through the trials should we fail. And in my hubris, I believe these classes were regulated to the earthbound. But in even this quaint supposition, I was in error. Our otherworldly antagonists have assured us our inevitable failure repeatedly, while the gods whisper cooperation in my sleep. I believe them now. I just blew up my first gate. I'm not sure why I did, really. Yeah, at the end of the last flash, they show her doing that. It wasn't really something. I mean, when they tell the stories in those flash sequences, it's really hard sometimes to keep up with everything that's going on. So I'm really glad that they took the time to say it here. I'm not playing by the rules anymore. I will fly around this candy-coated rock and comb the white sand until I find answers. No one can tell me our fate can't be repaired. We've come too far. I jumped out of the way of a burning tree for God's sake. I have used a spell to rip this walkthrough from Earth's decay network and sealed it in one of the servers floating in the furthest ring. The gods may disperse the signal throughout the cosmos as they wish. Perhaps it will be of use to past or future species who, like us, have been ensnared by Sky's malevolent tendrils. In case it wasn't clear, magic is real. Pardon my egress. You're on your own now. So that's why she blew up the gate to, like, F the system. RL. Whoa, what the heck is all this? Okay, this is scary. Hours in the future. Hours in the future now? I'm so confused by the time here. The war weary calls another broken planet home. Another cloth his garb. Land and rags search for the vagabond. Oh, for the wayward. A villain became a vagabond. The recent past is recalled. Whoa. So this is where Black Noir like killed everyone. An accursed mascot is located among the fallen brethren, its visage reviled. A rag of souls drifts from the heavens, its owner a mystery. There's John, there's Rose. Wait, they were part of the... A boy finds a dead friend? Her ring recovered. The boy sees himself in a cloud. his destination revealed hours in the future. A mistress becomes a mendicant. The recent past is recalled. A communication device is borrowed. A rendezvous arranged. There it flies overhead. The Slayer is summoned. The collateral presented. Snap. The droll is beckoned. The bargain honored. There he is. The boy finds the castle. His courier's path crossed. Poof. The mail is delivered. An obligation satisfied. The package is opened. Letters read. John. John, from what I hear tell, you've been through a bit of an adventure by the time you're reading this. That's so great. I love adventure, and I would bet my bottom boondock you do too. I think we're birds of a feather, John. I am pretty eager to meet you. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned we are going to meet someday. I hear you like movies, is that right, John? I love movies too. Have you ever seen Weekend at Bernie's? I have. I've seen the, I was more of a fan of the second one though, for some weird reason. The part where they make him come to life by playing music and he goes off to find treasure. Just so weird. So freaking hilarious. It's hard to talk to Jade about movies because she doesn't really know about movies, but I'm sure you know that. Boring. Haha. Just kidding. Jade, you know I love you and I think you're a blast. Okay, speaking of Jade, we spent quite a long time working on this present for you. It was a big team effort. Okay, I had to do quite a lot of arm twisting to get her to go along with helping and make such an oddball present for you and so well in advance. But I had my arms sort of twisted myself to get this going in the first place. But then she came around to the idea because she could see the future. It's pretty amazing if you ask me. It'll all be clear later. Gadzooks, with all this arm twisting, I've been getting a good workout. We should wrestle when we meet John. I love to wrestle. I don't get a chance to wrestle with anyone that much. Do you like to get into fisticuffs, John? Scums and whatnot? Me too. Anyway, should listen to Jade from here on out because she sure seems to know what's best for you. Whatever your adventure throws at you, I'm sure she'll tell you can handle it. She believes in you. So, who is this person speaking? Because I don't recognize the green lettering here. Except for the distinguished male has a green lettering. GA, sorry, I have nicknames. The GA character has this, but GA capitalizes everything. There's a lot of not capitalization here. There's no letter from a different author. Dear John. Oh, wait, go back to that. That was different. Oh, kicking Christ in a dirty diaper. Almost forgot to mention what's in this box. Sorry this is so small. I mean, obviously it's small. Contents. Royal Derringer, Quills of Echidna. What? Dear John, happy birthday with a big smile face. Okay, so this is Jade. I'm not going to read it in Jade's voice though, because if I read something this long in someone else's voice, it gives me a headache. Even though it's super late and you probably... Oh wait, happy birthday, right. Even though it's super late and you probably went through a lot of trouble to get it, I really hope this present cheers you up. You look so sad while you were reading my letter, which is to say, the one you're reading now. I can explain. You see, when I go to sleep, in my dreams, I wake up on the moon of a planet called Prospect. By now you must know about this place. I have lived there in my dreams most of my life, and I made so many friends there over the years. And you were there too, but you were asleep. The fact that you're awake now, I think, means all my friends are in trouble. You're awake because it is your job to help them. We will both help them. But, I know these things because while I was on the moon, whenever it passed through sky, I could see lots of things in the clouds. The past, the future, stuff about our friends, and stuff about you. Now that you're awake, and apparently at the center of sky, wow! Should be able to see stuff in the clouds too. Maybe you already have. About this present, my pen pal helped me work on it. He included a letter too. He's really funny and silly. I like him a lot and I think you would too. It took a long time between the two of us. And sure, the present looks like fun and completely ridiculous thing to get, but it is also really important. You are getting it exactly when you need it most. Maybe that's hard to believe, but it's true. I saw it happen already. I don't see everything, John, and I definitely don't know everything that's going to happen. But when I do know something, I always try to do my best to help people in the future. When I'm supposed to, that is. You'll get the hang of it. John, I am really looking forward to seeing you when you all wake up. It's been nice playing with my Prospidian friends and all, but also kind of lonely knowing you were in the other tower sleeping and having lousy dreams. Huh. I'm not sure where I am, where you are, reading this, but I'm sure it'll make it down to you where you are soon. Geez, how did you get down there? Oh, well, I'll find out. I can't wait to fly around the moon with you and show you all my favorite places. It'll be so much fun. Heart, Jade. Aww. Hmm? Oh my god. Oh. A boy's grief is interrupted. His ring sought. What the heck is this? Remember when I said this game is incredibly weird? This is what I'm talking about. So all of a sudden, the present was a combination rabbit put together with the symbol, the blurb symbol, using a clown hammer and a broken chivalric sword with I don't even know what to call this this giant weapon in the back. Oh, and he's sort of like a Terminator too, with lightning wings. Sure. Yeah, yeah, that all is that all is a thing that just came out of the box. That is what that is. The boy has taken a new master, the tactician, a misstep. Check. Oh, don't tell me I was in the future! I want to know what happens. A regulator becomes a renegade. Is he taking it off or putting it on? A recent past is recalled. A temple is fled and soon revisited. Oh, he's rocketing off again. A nearby laboratory is also revisited. Its satellites dispatched. So we're asleep during all this. So who is... So this is what I mean about the craziness of the game sometimes. So hours in the future. So this is after this event. But how do we get this this yellow outfit? So hours in the future, but then the recent past is recalled. So this might have been before that other event, but after this event, but before a symbol is found, rumbling ominous. And the meteor's coming. Zzz. The lab is in flight. It exits inoperative. Another public servant makes a sacrifice. A citizen's safety is secured. So the meteor is going into the gate, and we've been saved by this guy by wrapping us onto his hovercraft. And there's Black Noir. Did he flee? Did he run away from us? A tyrant is retreating. A battleship landing. He picks us up. Or is that's her? And then they wave? Who's leaving? Jade Harley. A grandfather mourns. A family tradition honored. Oh, all this going through the gates. A queen mourns. A kingdom bid farewell. Hours in the future. Her journey through the windswept must be walked alone. Her entourage bid farewell. A queen becomes a questant. And then years. This has a symbol on it. That's a mark. A key is employed. A command station repaired. Aw, this little guy. This is his entire town that he was building. We got the caution guy here. Okay, he was putting that on. The mayor. Is it the little guy there? Oh, that was a ring. Morse code. Oh my. There's a ring in the clouds. Our ring. There's another cloud. And inside a dark laboratory unused for years. And inside a fourth wall, pilfered from a bureaucrat's office and absconded with years ago. It isn't turned on, but if it was, it's almost certainly what he would see. Harley. Jade Harley. Recap 2. Bam, 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 tap, 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 tap. Oh my god. Okay, it's another one of these. Alright, everyone, sit back, relax. Here we go. Picking up from where we left off. I typed a really long recap, and then some other stuff happened. I really do appreciate this, by the way, how he has these recaps, because with everything that does happen in this game, it's nice to be able to read a synopsis of the plot to help you further understand everything that's going on. I typed a really long recap, and then some other stuff happened. So GC, the gallows calibrator, helped John fly to the second gate, which took him to Rose's world, Lolar. He crashed into Rose's room where he found her asleep. He slipped through her room, and Dave tricked him into giving him the code to duplicate Rose's writing journals. John, yeah, okay. That was when we turned over the thing and the code was on the back and was watching through a camera. John opened the package Rose made for his birthday. It contained the older bunny from Con Air, the same one John got from Dave, but older and dirtier, and modified with Rose's knitting. She had the bunny since she was very young. John leaves Casey the salamander, Bubbles Viceroy Von Salamander, I love Casey, in the room. He briefly speaks with GA, Grim Oxylux, Auxiliatrix from Rose's computer, and pretends to be Rose, yes. And I did that in her voice just because it was fun. She believes he is, triggering a convoluted series of conversations between her and the real Rose, and both the past and the future in no particular order. GA gets help with her computer from TA, Twin Armageddons, in time to see Rose at her computer having woken up. Before she woke up, Dream Rose was awake on Durst's moon. She now had memories from her future self's doomed alternate reality. She flew to Dream Dave's tower and got his attention with a ball of yarn, causing real Dave to fall asleep. They had a dream dance party. Dream Rose threw Dream Cal out the window. Rose rocket board called Dream Cal. AR followed the board and Cal to a transportalizer on Durst, which led to a media lab in the Vale. Meanwhile, on Lolar, Rose's mom defeated a huge monster. The pony, Maplehoof, followed her and collected the Grist Windfall. Both Mom and the pony then transported to the media lab. John's dad found a clean hat John had deposited into a parcel of Pyxis. Dad followed Jade's grandpa, who was carrying John's Sasker book into some ruins. They both transported to the media lab too. Meanwhile, John used the Chris collected by the pony to make a normal-sized version of a giant hammer. Fear no anvil, which Dave Sprite gave him the code for. Dream Rose saw John on Dream Dave's computer and woke up. She went out to see him, but he had already blasted off. He took the mutant kid in, Vodka, Mutiny, Dr. Meowgan Spangler. I love the name. The name's so good. John found that the ruins that Mom and the pony went into. He went in and killed some powerful monsters with his new hammer. He transported to the media lab as well. In the lab, he found no one except the pony. Some other stray items were on the floor. Dad's dirty hat, the Sasker book, Dream Cal. He found some apparatus used to genetically engineer foot soldiers and agents for the white and black armies from chest piece DNA. Okay, I didn't know he did that. Huh. He also found a junior ectobiologist's lab suit and a series of terminals much like those the exiles would find in the far future. He would use this apparatus to create paradox clones of himself, his friends, and their guardians. Yes. Meanwhile, AR surfed Bro's rocket board to a different meteor containing the fog temple that would later root itself near Jade's island. I remember that. Inside, he found the same time capsule she would find later. He also found some more lab equipment used for ectobiology. This equipment would soon be used to create Bacchio, a mutated combination of the genes from an ordinary dog in the early 20th century and the DNA code in one of Rose's journals. AR hides in the lab when he hears one of Jax's henchmen, the draconian dignitary. Dee Dee is carrying Rose's duplicated journals, which she stole from Dave, and Dave's beta, which was used as a bookmark. He discards the beta into the time capsule. Millions of years later, from the capsule's perspective, Jade would retrieve the beta and use it to connect with Dave, allowing him to enter the medium. Dave created the journal duplicates after an extensive alchemy binge. Rose, too, had a familiar alchemy session, and both kids upgraded their weapons and gears. Rose made a pair of needle wands, crossed with her grimoire, and took up the art of dark magic. She used this magic to burn her journal, thus destroying the genetic code. She was advised to do so by the gods of the furthest ring, whom she was now able to communicate with in their dreams. The gods live far beyond the veil and advise the children of the moon of Durs, and serve as a counterpart to the role Skya plays for the children of Prospet's moon. They deemed the code which would inevitably be used to create Bacchial to be dangerous. Dave decided to destroy his copy too, but when he went back to his room, he discovered they were stolen. He also found his own dead body, which apparently was him from the very far future, attempted to go back in time and stop the thief Dee Dee. Dave decided not to attempt any more time travel and disposed of the body. GC, Gale's collaborator, discussed the matter with him and pledged to help him by telling him his future along the way, so that he would not have to face the death of more future selves, or suffer the sort of embarrassment he went through while entering the medium. Previously unseen, the way Dave entered the medium was as follows. As a large meteor was bearing down on the city, Dave climbed the radio tower on top of the building with his broken sword in hand to reach the nest built by the crow sprite. The sprite guarded the egg, which, unknown to Dave, simply needed time to hatch before he could enter. The sprite pecked his head and he fell. He was saved by Bo's rocket board. Meanwhile, Bo was on top of the meteor, riding it as it descended. He used his sword to chop it in half, splitting it into two pieces, diverting the initial impact from the building to two separate impact sites. He thus bought a little more time for the egg to hatch, which it did, just before the location was consumed by the blast. On Prospet's moon, PM prepared to depart for the battlefield at the center of Skya to seek the king's counsel on what to do with the queen's ring. She was tailed by another of Noir's lackeys, the courtyard droll. The courtyard droll picked her pocket and stole the ring. PM departed via shuttle to Skya. Dream Jade then clobbered CD and recovered the ring. She tried it on, but its power has no effect on humans. Later, CD would travel to the battlefield and continue tailing PM. The battlefield is a planet at the center of Skya. It undergoes a transformation with each player that enters a medium, and each new prototype kernel introduced starts as a simple 3x3 chessboard with two kings in perpetual stalemate, and expands to a larger board and more exotic collection of pieces with the first player entering. Then it became a much larger cube with the second player, and an even larger sphere with oceans, trees, mountains, and pastures with the third, and presumably will transform again with the fourth. The armies of the Black and White Kingdom duel there. Soldiers are uplifted from the meteor facilities in the Veil to supply the manpower. Airlifted, not uplifted. Enormous mutant chest-like monsters stalk the landscape. The two kings command their armies from the field. They each have a scepter that serves a similar purpose to the queen's rings. When activated, a scepter causes a king to be a giant and bear the properties of all the prototypings. A king is able to deactivate his scepter to hand it off to another so that they will not be affected in no way. When the Black King captures a White King's scepter, the reckoning begins. The reckoning sends all the meteors in the Veil towards Skya, in stages. First, the small ones, then gradually the big ones over a 24-hour period. There was a war-weary villain on the battlefield who was a simple farmer and was tired of the conflict. WV united a band of soldiers from both armies to lead a rebellion against the Black King. Before they could attack the king, Jack Noir, now empowered by the Black Queen's king, intercepted the coup. He destroyed the king's scepter and killed the king. Jack then killed the entire rebellion army, sparing only WV Perhaps to leave a survivor to tell the story, or perhaps out of respect for a fellow mutineer. Only he knows. Meanwhile, PM met with the White King. He disabled his scepter and gave it to her along with his crown. PM Question now had the crowns of the White King and the Queen and the White Scepter, but discovered she had misplaced the Queen's ring. Jack's muscle, the hegemonic brute, had been tailing the White King. HB then followed PM Question and attacked her. She dropped the scepter off a cliff. She would regroup and chop off HB's head with the Regisword Jack gave her to kill the White Monarchs. CD, who has been trailing both of them, recovered the White Scepter and delivered it to Jack. Jack used it to initiate the reckoning and would proceed to go on a more extensive rampage, devastating the battlefield and Prospect. Back in the Meteor Lab, John began that ectobiology session, which appeared to have been prepared for him in advance by all the Guardians who had just been there. The 4 monitors were all locked onto one of the kids' Guardians at certain points in time, each on the day of one of the kids' birth. On Jade's birthday, Nana was locked onto in John's neighborhood by the Betty Crocker factory. The meteor carrying baby Jade crashed into the factory and destroyed it. Her grandpa, the owner of that factory, would adopt her. John's dad witnessed and would spend years investigating. On Dave's birthday, Grandpa was locked onto while he was on the yacht, pioneering the island for the first time. He was sailing with baby Jade. Overhead, there was a meteor carrying baby Dave, which would crash into Bro's favorite record shop. On Rose's birthday, Bro was locked onto as he stood over the crater where we would find baby Dave. He would give him a tiny pair of pointy shades. Overhead, there was a meteor carrying baby Rose, which would land in a lake and destroy it. Rose's mom would retrieve and adopt her. Months later, on John's birthday, Mom would bring Rose to John's neighborhood to investigate the destruction at Grandpa's factory and related stellar phenomenon. The target was locked on her. Dad came out of the family joke shop to greet her, leaving Nana inside. The meteor carrying baby John destroyed the shop, killing Nana. Dad would adopt John, and Rose's mom disappeared. Dad retrieved her scarf and filed the clue away for his ongoing investigation. Jeff attempted unwittingly to purify all 4 Guardians, but since removing them from these moments would have caused a paradox, he instead paradoxified the ghost slime imprints. This slime was collected into 2 pairs of containers. One pair collected Nana and Grandpa's slime, the other pair collected Mom and Bro's. The device then created baby paradox clones of the 4 Guardians. These babies would then later be sent back in time to become the Guardians themselves. Once those 4 clones were created, another sequence activated. The 2 pairs of slime tubes emptied into vats below. The Nana Grandpa slime mixed together, and separately the Mom Bro slime mixed together as well. An additional 4 paradox clones were created from those 2 slime connectations. Baby John and Jade were created from the Nana Grandpa slime. Baby Rose and Dave were created from the Mom Bro slime. These 4 babies would also go back in time to become the 4 kids via meteors in the sequence and on the dates listed above. All 8 babies would each ride their own meteors, launched from the Veil after Jack started the reckoning, and into the defense portals developed by Sky to protect itself. The defense portals each led to Earth, as Sky defends itself, in a way, by sacrificing Earth. While most meteors are sent to the time period when the kids began the game, many lead to a number of different time periods. Some 13 years prior to the game used by the kids, some nearly a century prior, used by Nana and Grandpa, some millions of years ago, used eventually by the Fog Temple meteor, and some to the far future, used by the Exiles. And all 8 of them would travel with an object or an animal. John with the Sasker book, which would become the much older looking family heirloom stored in Dad's safe, with Nana Sprite's inscription to John on it. Rose with the dirty bunny Dave gave John for his birthday. Dave with the pony Maple Hoof. Jade with the knit repaired bunny Rose got John for his birthday, which Rose cherished since birth. Nana with Dad's dirty hat. Mom with Mutiny, Meowgon. Grandpa with the 2 flintlock pistols which older Grandpa left behind for him in the lab, which would eventually wind up in Jade's room. And Bro with Dream Cal, which would later be fitted with a new personalized shirt and would become Real Cal, the same doll that would haunt Dave's walk in life and consequently his dreams. So the Dream Cal became real? All these babies and the items would automatically be transported to their own meteors at the onset of the reckoning. John made absolutely sure to get Baby Rose and Jade their bunnies when he saw an opportunity to reenact a scene from one of his favorite movies, much to the dismay of watching carcinogeneticist CG. I love that scene. While AR Question was in the Fog Temple lab, he would see more of young Nana and Grandpa's story. On 4/13, 1910, exactly 99 years prior to John's birth, baby Nana's meteor destroyed a bakery owned by Betty Crocker. Nana was adopted by Crocker's husband, Colonel Sassacre, and taken to live in his mansion. 8 days later, Grandpa's meteor destroyed the doghouse belonging to Sassacre's dog, Haley. Haley was elsewhere and was unharmed. When Sassacre and Nana went to investigate the crater, Sassacre was shot and killed accidentally with one of Grandpa's pistols. Haley then showed up, who young Grandpa would tend to pronounce Harley due to his speech impediment, and would largely serve as a guardian for the next 13 years, which presumably some parental influence from the wicked Crocker. On his 13th birthday, Grandpa would run off with Harley to find adventure. Nana would stay behind, contend with the Battle Witch, and master the art of baking, as well as take up her deceased grandfather's tradition of pranksterism. Harley was locked onto the device by the Fog Temple's equipment. DD activated the device and produced a paradox clone of Harley combined with the controversial meow code to create Puppy Beck. The spectacle terrified AR Question, leaving a major impression on him. He would recognize Beck's silhouette carved on WV's pumpkin a year later. The pumpkin commanded his fear and caused him to surrender. Meanwhile, the grown-up versions of Mom and Dad were on board a flying battleship belonging to Grandpa, who piloted it towards Gaia. Dad gave Mom her long-discarded scarf from the day he lost his mother and found his son. The two guardians traded gestures of affection. Jade remained asleep through it all, trying to stay on the moon as long as she could until she figured out how to wake John up. She talked about this with AT, Audio's Torador, who revealed he preferred his dream life on Prospect more than any aspect of the game, and regretted all the troll's dream selves were now dead. Jade expressed surprise at the notion of dream self mortality. After Jack used the full power of the ring to devastate the battlefield and the two armies, he turned his attention on Prospect, inflicting severe damage the same way. He then cut the chain connecting the moon to Prospect, sending the moon plummeting through the atmosphere of Gaia and breaking up in the process. Dream John, still asleep, fell out of his tower and drifted down ahead of the falling moon. Dream Jade flew to intercept him and spent a moment attempting to wake him before the moon's collision was imminent. At the last minute, she flung Dream John out of the blast radius but was not able to clear the blast itself. She died. Oh! That's why they were wearing the yellow. Oh, I completely missed that for some reason. They're wearing the yellow because that was their dream selves. I can't believe I didn't recognize that. With all the time hopping that goes on, I just thought it was like a future version. No, that was their dream selves. Ah. The blast left a massive crater on the battlefield. This was the first thing Dream John saw when he woke up. The death of Dream Jade caused her dream bot to malfunction and explode, destroying her room. Still asleep, Jade fell from her tower as Beck watched from a distance. An enormous meteor loomed overhead. Elsewhere, on Dave's world, Lohawk, Bro dueled with Jack briefly. It was a stalemate, until Bro plunged his sword into the large floating record platform they were fighting on. This released a mysterious energy from the cracks. Bro escaped. Bro's completed her final GameFAQs walkthrough entry, and used magic to seal it in a server in the furthest ring, to be accessed by players in worlds beyond their own. She had destroyed her first gate on a whim, and resolved to search for answers to remedy the hopelessness of their doomed session. Meanwhile, Dave entered his first gate, riding into it with his awesome skateboard, Unreal Air. The four exiles arrived on Earth years after its apocalypse, but years before they found their respective command stations. WV wrapped himself in John's dream blanket, which became dirty and unrecognizable over time. He found it along with the Jack-like doll on the battlefield, which formerly sat in Dream John's bedroom hunting his dreams. WV Question ripped it apart. PM wrapped himself in a prospect banner, which too faded in time. AR wrapped himself in a caution tape, using his own supply, as well as some fresh rolls he was lucky enough to discover near the ruined Fog Temple in one of Grandpa's old crates. This was after he escaped that same temple in the medium, and found the meteor lab in which John slept. That meteor then took off for Gaia via the Reckoning. AR Question taped John to the rocket board and cast him off before the meteor went through a portal. Thus, AR became exiled. WQ exiled herself with an entourage on a royal cruiser and landed on Earth. She departed on a solo quest, leaving her people to their own devices. She discovered her command station, a large egg, broken into pieces in the two large craters made by Dave's split meteor. She used a key to repair the egg station and teleported to the present location of exiles. The fog ruins at night, 413 years after the apocalypse of Earth. On the battlefield, Dream John found Dream Jade's body. He was sad and confused, and took her ring as a keepsake. Later, Grandpa would land his ship on the battlefield, find and recover her body, and use it to create a stuffed trophy as a memorial. As per the proud family tradition, he would depart in his ship and leave Mom and Dad behind. John saw a vision and a cloud directing him where to go. It was a castle where he would rendezvous with PM Question. PM Question, after beheading HB, used his radio to summon Jack. He came, and she traded the 2 white crowns for the green box, Jade's present to John. He appeared pleased to uphold the bargain, either out of misunderstanding that I was still under control of the contents, or out of respect for PM Question's tenacity and brutality in pursuing the prize. Only he knows. PM Question delivered the package to John, and then left, not thrilled by the trials caused by its recovery. John opened it to find letters from Jade and her pen pal, who helped her make the present for him for over several years. The gift was the pen pal's idea, and he himself was coerced into the plan by someone else. The box contained a modified version of the stuffed bunny John had received for his birthday twice already. It was the same knit-repaired bunny John sent back in time with baby Jade, and she presumably kept it as a cherished childhood toy ever since. It was now upgraded with mechanical parts, fully mobile and autonomous. It was also included with 4 powerful weapons: the Royal Derringer, broken sword, the quills of Echidna, the wands. I missed the wands. Those must have been the white things in the back. Ahab's crosshairs, the rifle. Oh, maybe that was the thing. That was that weapon. And the Warhammer of Zillihu, the hammer. Each was shrunken down to be bunny size. As John mourned Jade's death over her letter, he was interrupted by Jack's sword. Also, why are there so many characters with 4 letters in the name that begin with J? You got John, Jade, and Jack, all really important. Jack was after the ring, but the heavily armed mechanical bunny intervened, recognizing John as his new master. Jack, knowing the danger of the toy, was forced to retreat. Surprised me. Finally, a cloud showed John what he was supposed to do with the ring. It was held by a mysterious black hand. In the far future on Earth, the exiles gathered around Exile Town. WQ asked WV for something. WV revealed he had been storing the complete quad prototype ring in the sleeve of his trusty knife. I had been there all along, much to Serendity's surprise. And then, I started working on Act 5. Elsewhere in Paradox Space, we examine another planet forgotten by time, but we will strive to remember what was this planet's name. So are we doing like an entirely new set of characters now? I'm very interested to see where this story goes next. But for now, I think this is a good stopping point, because there's no point in starting Act 5 and go 10 minutes in and then stopping. Let's make this its own separate thing. I love you guys all so very much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for commenting as well. Just, helping and pointing out, especially Entra, you're awesome. Pointing out, what's going on, so that way I can try to keep up. Because I will say, as I said at the beginning of this video, this story is just absolutely insane. It is. I mean, it's the most. I've never played or read anything like this. This is absolutely insane, and I love it. I love insanity. I mean, it's great. It's so nice to be doing something that's different, because oftentimes time travel stories are very, you could say, I'm not gonna say cut and paste, but at the same time, you're going back in the past, you fix something, you go to the future, and yes, there's different time periods to go through, but I mean, with this like complexity and depth, this is just mind-blowing. So thank you for everything, my dear friends. I love you all so very much. I will talk to you again very soon. I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic, amazing, awesome day. And until next time, so long and take care. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment on what you saw and what you'd like to see next. I always love to hear your thoughts. But before we go, please remember that you matter, and you are brilliant, and you are loved, and you should always be true to yourself. Never let the world tell you any different. Much love to you from your friendly, feathered, flightless bird.